how to stay calm when your team, and maybe you, are panicking. When I was building my third business, we had had some early struggles, but finally succeeded by landing a whale of a client. They were 80% of our revenue, and we had a 5-year contract. That gave us the breathing room and the runway to go and build the customer base so we'd be less reliant on them. Yet 2 months into the 5-year contract, they executed their ability to terminate early. And I and my team absolutely panicked. 80% of our revenue was suddenly, in 3 months, going to be out the door. And we didn't have a plan B or much time to solve it. But I recently read and so managed to remember in that moment the 50-10 rule for staying calm. Here's how it works. Take 50 seconds to simply close your eyes and breathe. That's enough time for your sympathetic nervous system to calm down, for the cortisol in your body to start to subside, for some clarity to come to your mind. Because when you're in a state of panic, you get super attached to what's going on as if it is the only truth. When you're in that state of having slowed down your breathing and separated yourself from what's happening, you can do the most important thing that allows you to stay calm. And that only takes 10 seconds. It's reframing what's going on in a way that opens you up for inspired action instead of shuts you down into panic. How do you do that? Well, it begins by realizing that everything that happens in the world is interpreted by us, put into a narrative structure through which we make meaning. Or said more simply, there's what happens, you lose a big client, and there's the story you tell yourself about it. We're screwed, this business is going to close. But once you see that there's a difference between what happened and your story, you start to see that you don't really have access to the truth, you've just got access to your truth, and you made it up. Therefore, the question isn't how accurate is my story, but how useful it is. And that's where reframing can be so powerful. In those 10 seconds, I realized I could tell the story differently. This is an opportunity for us to suffer this loss, but build back twice as strong by never making the same mistake of being over-reliant on a single large client. Did that change the reality of their resignation? Of course not. But it changed how I, and in turn, how my team felt about the road ahead, what was possible for us, and why it would be exciting to bounce back from this stronger than ever. The 50-10 rule is as simple as 50 seconds of quiet, deep breathing to allow yourself the distance to ask yourself not what's true, but what story can we tell ourselves that leave us feeling ready for action, calm in demeanor, and inspired by the mission ahead. Try out the rule. See how it works for you.